Hey everyone, today we'll be taking a look at the new brand from GAN Cube, Monster Go. So these cubes are intended to be used for educational purposes of helping you how to learn how to solve a 3x3 cube, which is pretty cool. So if you are here looking for the traditional cubes, which are the standard 6-color cubes, we will have a link to that video in the description box for your reference. So let's go ahead and just dive right into it. So diving right into it, I really like the packaging for this new series. It's very kind of playful, easy on the eyes, and you don't really take it too seriously. I really do like this Monster Go logo a lot more than I thought I would. It's really grown on me the more and more I look at it. Very creative. You have the kind of M right there and the little monster horns, and I really like the orange and blue colors because ironically those are two colors that SES uses primarily, so I guess I'm pretty biased. One quick thing about the packaging is that it will not be looking quite like this for the final version. It will be a bit smaller, more compact, and not have a window. So when these are officially released and you see different packaging, now you know why. So we'll get these guys out of the way for a second and focus on mystery cube number 1, because I don't really see much of an indication of which one is which. But I do know, okay. So this one is going to be called the UT Cube. I'm not too sure what UT is abbreviated for, but it's pretty much, or excuse me, no, this is actually the Rainbow Cube. So the Rainbow Cube is pretty much a 3-layered 3x3, and wow, this is actually a really solid kind of plastic to where it's really nice that it kind of pops into place right there. So it's really secure while in transit, and will keep the cube a little bit more protected. So definitely a nice plastic right there, which I never thought I would say about a cube. So this is the Rainbow Cube, and pretty much the objective is to solve each layer without having to worry about the permutation of them. So it's a bit easier to say the least, and is I guess supposed to be just a way for beginner cubers to get more comfortable. Typically, I don't really look at the guide too much with these, but I do know this one has some good information in it. So the first thing I see is you have a quick kind of breakdown of all the different cubes in this series. So we have the MG3, so Monster Go 3x3, traditional 3x3, and the magnetic version, which we'll be covering in a separate video. Then we have the Rainbow, which is this guy right here. Then we have the Cloud, which comes in pink and also blue, which I think are these two. And then we have the UT, which is the single layer. And then we have the MG2 traditional 2x2 and the black belt 2x2. The 2x2s are not yet ready for production, so those will be coming out shortly after, I'd imagine, and will not be available in a magnetized version. But it is cool that when you look at this guide, which this guide comes only with the educational version, which I'm going to refer to as like the UT, the Rainbow, and the Cloud cubes. It shows you how to solve each one of them, which is really nice, so you don't have to have a different guide for each one, and it's easy if you, I'd imagine most people will buy these in a set of 4, so you have all your guide right here, and it looks like it's a really nice design. I like little characters you have here, and it's really kind of easily laid out. I don't know why I really like this pink and like kind of dark pink color. So really looks nice. Really good job, GAN, on the development of this. Taking a look at the cube itself, which is I'm sure what you're all interested in, it has a decent weight to it, surprisingly. I do not believe, actually I know for a fact this one is not magnetized, but it does feel like it would be magnetized given by the weight. But nope, sure enough, there are no magnets. The turning is pretty bumpy, actually, and it's very smooth but kind of a bit sluggish. So when you're rotating it, it definitely is pretty effortless to turn, but it is actually one of the more bumpy cubes that I have used in recent times. Overall, I mean, the target price for these cubes I think is going to be around like the $8 range. So for $8, this is a really solid cube. It is a bit loose out of the box, and you can actually see some honeycomb right in there, which is really surprising. First, GAN surprised me with the honeycomb on their 330, and now they're including the honeycomb on these cubes, which is really cool to see that they are putting that much attention to detail. So it's actually pretty tight out of the box, but let's go ahead and pop off the center cap. And we are greeted with a GES type system. So it has an orange spring, and we have settings of 0.6 and 0.8. So pretty much pretty standard settings there. And it is a numerical IPG setting, so you can very easily just change the setting on the fly and not have to worry about carrying around a screwdriver or anything like that. So really nice that you're getting a ton of value in this cube. And I mean, this is gonna be a lot for just someone who's learning how to solve a cube. I mean, this is gonna be like overkill with how much customization and you know, performance you're getting. So definitely, I cannot see a beginner having any gripes with this. And one thing that is really cool is that, going back to the turning feel, the fact that it's actually kind of slower, I think is intentional. And the reason I think that is because if you're a beginner solver, it might be a bit overwhelming for you to start turning a cube that's really fast. So moving on to the cloud cube, we have the blue one right here. And then I'll really quickly just grab the pink one and keep track of all my plastics. And the instruction manual is going to be the same for all 4 of these, so I'm not going to take a look at each one. And these are really cool looking. I'd imagine that the idea between the pink and the blue is for boy and for girl, because these are supposed to be for very young solvers, like a really good children's toy, or for someone that just truly is really new to the cube, because obviously the objective for this guy is just to solve the white face, not even the white layer. So it's not very difficult to just solve the white color. And I think that the main idea is, aside from these being trainer cubes, is that they're gonna give the user who's learning how to solve the cube some more satisfaction. Whereas if you take them straight to a traditional 3x3 cube with all 6 faces having a different color, it's, you know, some people take to it a lot easier than others and it can get frustrating. But if you hand somebody a cube that you literally just have to solve, like, let's see, you just have to solve one face, I mean, it's pretty, you know, satisfying to see that you are solving something. So I think that's the idea here. Typically, I'm a sucker for blue, but I am gonna have to say I do prefer the pink one for the cloud cubes. Taking a look at the UT cube, which I don't know if that means like up top or not too sure what the abbreviation is, but I'm gonna kind of refer to it as the 1-layer cube from here on out, because that's essentially what it is. We do have a nice vibrant color scheme, same as all the other cubes, so it is consistent throughout, of course. And this one is gonna be a step up from the cloud cubes, where you are solving not only a face, but a whole layer. So the permutation of these pieces does matter. So I'd imagine that the skill level is gonna go like cloud cubes to the 1-layer to the rainbow. I mean, I guess this could be switched around, but on one hand, you would have to learn algorithms to permute these pieces, or I guess you kind of wouldn't. I mean, I guess you could do it intuitively, but putting yourself into the shoes of someone who doesn't know how to solve the cube yet, I'm not really too sure actually what would be easier. I mean, I don't know, like, it's just, I don't know, it's kind of weird. So I'm not really too sure which order these were intended to go in, or if it really matters. Overall, there isn't really that much to say about these other than the fact that they're really solid beginner cubes. These are really just meant for those, again, who are, if you have a family member or a friend or anybody that's looking at how to solve the cube, this is gonna be a really easy, cost-effective set just to pick up for them, and that way they can learn it in steps versus having to go and just dive into the whole cube off the bat. Looking at the corner piece, it is really cool that we have the honeycomb design here, but truthfully, I can't imagine that many people that would be using these are gonna be really lubricating the cubes and caring that much about the performance. So it's kind of like overkill, but it's cool that it's here. We have this sort of like seashell finish, which you can see right there on the corner stock, like on the foot of the corner, which I think is definitely probably contributing to that bumpy feel, because I can imagine that every time you turn and if it hits over one of those, it's going to be a little bit bumpy. The core, we have that clear plastic core, and as I mentioned, under the cap we have the numerical GES with the 0.6 and the 0.8 settings. Other than that, pretty basic piece design there. And then we have the edge, which also has that honeycomb, you can see right there, and pretty basic design. So these cubes aren't really anything groundbreaking. I think that the goal with them was just to get the cube into more people's hands and have something that is easy and fun to use. If you are looking to get a family member or close friend into speed solving, I will have a link in the description box down below that will link to all of these Monster Go cubes, and they will be sold as a set as well, so if you want to pick them all up, it'll be nice and easy to do so. Ultimately, I think this was a really good idea, and I can really support the concept behind them. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is something cool? Would you consider getting these for someone you're looking to teach the cube, or would you just go towards a traditional 3x3 and just do it that way? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next video. Don't forget, if you want to see the traditional version, which is the classic 3x3 from the Monster Go series, be sure to click that other link in the description box below. Thanks.